Hey, so we have this problem. It says rationalize the denominator and simplify. So our expression says square root of 15 plus square root of 5 over square root of 15 minus square root of 5. All right. So whenever it says rationalize the denominator, that means we're going to multiply by the denominator with an opposite sign. So we're going to copy and paste exactly what the denominator says without any signs attached. And looking right here, this negative sign, I'm going to put positive signs over here. All right. This that I'm putting in parentheses has the same thing on top as the same thing on bottom. So it's like multiplying by 1. So I'm not changing the expression any. I'm multiplying by 1. But what's going to happen is my denominator is going to be a number. It's not going to be square roots anymore. So when I multiply fractions, I multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. So I'm going to get square root of 15 plus square root of 5 times square root of 15 plus square root of 5. All of that over square root of 15 minus square root of 5 times square root of 15 plus square root of 5. All right. Then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply out all of these things and see what might cancel, what might not cancel, and see what happens. So we need to remember how to multiply binomials together. And we do that using this cute little acronym FOIL. It stands for first, outer, inner, last. So what that means is we're going to multiply our first two terms together, our outer two terms together, the square root of 15 and the square root of 5, our inner terms, and our last terms. All right. So when we multiply our first two terms, we're going to get square root of 15 times square root of 15. I'm doing my little division line there. Square root of 15 times square root of 15. Our outer term is going to be plus square root of 15 times square root of 5. All right. Our inner term is going to be square root of 5 times square root of 15. And our outer term, or our last term, is going to be square root of 5 times square root of 5. All right. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the denominator. We're going to do our first terms, our outer terms, our inner terms, and our last terms. So when we do that, we're going to have square root of 15 times square root of 15. Our outer terms are square root of 15 times square root of 5. Our inner terms, we have this negative right here with the square root of 5, so we can't forget that. We have negative square root of 5 times square root of 15, and our last terms are negative square root of 5 times square root of 5. All right, so this kind of looks a little messy, but notice that some things I can rearrange and collect them, and some things kind of go together. So if I have, for example, the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, I can use the fact that square root of a times square root of b equals square root of a times b, and I'm going to get square root of 9. But I know the square root of 9 is 3. All right. So if I multiply square root of something times itself, I get back whatever the something is inside my square root. So I'm going to use that fact here, 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 and here. I've just started in red. All right. I also want to notice that, do green. Right here, that is not green. Right here and right here, these are the same. Where I've underlined in green, they're the same. I just have to switch them around. Square root of 15 times square root of 5 is the same as square root of 5 times square root of 15. All right. That's just like a little note for now. So using this in red, this fact I'm boxing right here, I get my numerator is going to be 15 plus, these two are equal, so I'm going to do 2 times square root of 15 times square root of 5. Because they're equal, I have one and then another one, so I have 2 of them. 2 times square root of 15 times square root of 5. Plus, using my boxed in fact again, I'm going to have square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. Then on my denominator, using that fact, I'm going to get 15. And then down here, these two again are equal, but they have opposite signs. So it's like plus 2 minus 2. So we're going to get 0. So this is plus 0. Minus, using my boxed in fact again, I'm going to get 5. All right. So from here, I can combine like terms, this 15 and this 5, I can combine them, and I'm going to get 20 plus 2 on the square root of 15 times the square root of 5 over 10. 15 minus 5 is 10. All right, we've got a little bit more to go for this. Another fact that I can use is square root of 15 times square root of 5. That's the same as the square root of 15 times 5. And I know that 15 factors into 3 times 5. So I get square root of 3 times 5 squared. And I can break this up into square root of 3 times square root of 5 squared. And I know that square root of something squared gives me back whatever I'm squaring. So in this case, it'll be that 5. So I get 5 on the square root of 3. So using that, I can simplify this a little bit more, and I'm going to get 20 plus 2 times 5 on the square root of 3 over 10. Alrighty. 2 times 5 is 10, so that gives me 20 plus 10 on the square root of 3 over 10. All right. So up to here, we've been using all the properties that we've been learning about, the square roots. We can split them up. The square root of something squared is that something that we squared. So after this, what I'm going to do is just simplify a little bit more. I see in the numerator, I could pull out a 10 from each of these and have 10 times 2 plus the square root of 3 over 10. All right, because if I distributed this 10 back to these, I would get this right here. All right, and then this 10 that I'm multiplying and this 10 that I'm dividing cancel out. So I'm left with 2 plus the square root of 3. And that would be my final answer in its most simplified form. 2 plus the square root of 3. I'm going to kind of zoom out just a little bit to kind of recap how we got there. So we started with the expression that they gave us. I'm kind of zoom in because I know the video can be a little blurry sometimes. So we started with the fraction that they gave us right here that I'm boxing in. We multiplied by the conjugate of this right here. And conjugate's just a fancy word that says what we're going to do is where we have this minus, we replace it with the plus and multiply them. I'm trying to erase this little line right there. All right. So where we had this minus right here in the denominator, we replaced it with a plus. All right. And then we used FOIL to multiply these out. And that's how we got to this big long thing. And then from here, we were simplifying stuff. At these red stars that I have, we used this boxed property right here that if we had like square root of 3 times square root of 3, we would get square root of 9. And we know the square root of 9 is 3. So we just get back whatever's on the inside right there. And then from here, most of this is just simplifying it down, trying to make it into a smaller expression. And then we finally got our answer was 2 plus the square root of 3.